Hey, good morning, traders. So I mentioned in one of my posts just recently, actually yesterday evening, that I believe I have found the golden Easter egg. Now, I know it's a day late. Easter has come and gone. But I wanted to tell you a little bit of story before I jump to the charts here. For whatever reason, I woke up in the middle of the night, morning, on Easter morning. I could not sleep. And as many of us are accustomed to doing, we keep our phones on the bedside table. I just felt I could not fall asleep. And I know I shouldn't do this, but I checked my phone. Of course, that wakes you up even more. And I started scrolling through the cryptos, and I once again viewed the Cult USD price, and I saw a few more things that were positive indicators, I believe, from a technical analysis perspective, that could cause this thing to fly very soon. So more positive signs. And I know the price has gone down, and some of you are like, well, what is going on with this thing? But it's actually following patent technical analysis. And I want to show you that. So let's jump to the charts here. All right, so I did a video just a couple of days ago on Cult USD, and I mentioned a few things from the technical perspective that it was adhering to that looked very good to me. And I also covered a few bullet points, the fact that the developers are the same as the ones that work on Shiba. The coin was released on the same day, looks to have good timing, marketing. It's trending in terms of hashtags on Twitter, and it's got its own subreddit. Everything is prepped and ready to go viral for this particular coin, and that's always a good thing. Additionally, let me pull up the chart here. I had to chart from another website that had more price history. It looks like this thing was released on the 1st of February, and then it just started taking off around the 25th of March. And so I did Fibonacci from the low to the high, and we determined that this was a perfect drawback, following all the trends. All right, a lot of coins have drawn back to that 0.786 on Fibonacci, including the Bitcoin. All right, so this is following patent price action. And then we measured this bullish triangle from the top to the bottom to determine a target. And look at this. The target goes right exactly to taking out one of these zeros. So it would be 0.0001, a very good psychological place to, for the market to take a breather. Really, that's where I would sell if I was in this coin. All right, but I hadn't entered yet to this point because I was waiting for the opportune time. And just so happens when I woke up in the middle of the night, I felt like that was the opportune time. And I'm going to show you why. I found three more positive technical, I guess, patterns, price movements that show that this thing is still actually very bullish, even though, some of you feel like it's pulling back too far. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to zoom into the 4-hour chart. And you can see here on the 4-hour, we exited to the top side of this descending purple trend line. All right, now one thing that my subscribers know is I call a retest of previous resistance, now support, as kissing mama goodbye. So when the market likes to exit a significant line of resistance, it doesn't like to just take off, turn its back and shoot up to the moon. It likes to turn around and say goodbye a lot of times. And this is actually what's happening here on Cult USD. So you can see here that we took off to the upside of this descending purple trend line. But wait a second, hit that 100-day moving average or 100 candle moving average in the 4-hour chart. And then we just, we're like, well, it's not time yet. We got to turn around, say goodbye. And so that's what the price action is doing right now. And in fact, we're just under this trend line. But have no fear, folks, because this is still a good. In fact, if I were to draw a trend line from here to here, you can see we are actually on some sort of support. And this right here is all a bullish flag. And I consider this bullish flag to be outside of our larger bullish flag on the daily. All right, so here's our larger bullish flag. And unfortunately with TradingView, as I mentioned before, there's not enough price history here, so we can't see, you know, all the things that I drew on that other chart. And I close that out, so I'm not going to worry about that. But zooming into the 4 hour, here we are, and it's resting on that support. Now, I will say this, everything, we have to watch Bitcoin closely, right? Most of these altcoins do not just go rogue on their own and go bullish when everything else is bearish. Everything follows the lead dog, and the lead dog, excuse me, in this case is Bitcoin. All right, and so right now, as I mentioned in my update just an hour ago, we hit yet another time. We hit a long multi-year support. This is about the 16th or 17th time in the last 4 months that we have hit and tested this support. I really am kind of nervous down here. I don't like to be testing this support so many times because, again, it's like a jackhammer. You just keep hammering away at that. Eventually, it's going to break. All right, and we're going to fall through that. So I'm glad to see we tested it and then bounced hard, and I have now formed this kind of this hammer pattern candle. However, I just don't like to see us down here. We don't want to be testing this thing any longer, or it will break. So we have to watch this carefully, guys. This is not irrelevant to the price action of any of your cryptos, even those that appear to have gone a little bit rogue, such as Wrapped Luna here in my last week's hotness list. All right, we've hit our target there, and it's taking off, but it's not going to be outside of the Bitcoin price action. So we always have to keep our eyes on the lead dog here, because the lead dog goes off the trail, so do we. And that is the biggest concern. Otherwise, everything I see here, especially on the 4 hour chart, is all looking good. I know I don't like that candle pattern either, but it's down there testing support. We don't want to see it break, because sometimes, listen, my stop out would be back if we entered down here again. All right, so I entered this position like 4 o'clock on Easter morning when I couldn't sleep. I noticed that I'm enrolled in many different exchanges, and one of the exchanges that I'm in, BKEX, I'm not sponsored by it. I'm definitely not recommending it. I don't know how secure it is, but it happened to have Cult DAO, and so I transferred some stablecoin over there and bought some Cult DAO. Only represents 5% of my trading portfolio, and again, we are in territory that I have to watch closely, also pending Bitcoin price action. I'm going to draw a level here, and that about if we get down below this level, that's where I would stop out of this trade and go somewhere else for the time being. But right now, it looks, everything is, it's not terrible. The only thing that's a little bit concerning is this shooting star candle, but again, we're sitting on strong support. So that's really all I wanted to point out there. Just more, overall, more positive indicators that this thing is actually following good price action, adhering to the technical patterns and trends. And so we just have to watch this closely in accordance with the Bitcoin. So in conclusion, as I've already said, we follow the big dog Bitcoin. Watch that price action closely. So along with my Monday and Friday updates on the market, we should be able to gain a fair grasp on where this market might be headed next. So far, I remain cautiously optimistic. And why I say cautiously optimistic, as many of you who have been subscribed and follow me know, that on the top side of this black ascending trend line, which I call our support at this point, I am long, I am bullish crypto overall and Bitcoin. On the bottom side of this is when I turn bearish. So that's why I remain cautiously optimistic, because we still are on the top side, but just barely. All right, until the next video, guys. Peace.